Hey, ladies. Hey,
Hey.
Maddie.
Hey,
Welcome.
Maddie.
Welcome. Well, I am so happy to be here, episode 13 with y'all. Look, we're gonna be at episode 20 soon, y'all. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Time is flying. And while time is flying, we want to talk about establishing routines because it's so easy to get out of your routine. Your things fall off the tracks, things go nuts. But looking at routines for the season that you're in. You're not necessarily talking about winter, spring, summer, fall, because I don't even know what are we in?
I don't even know those things matter anymore.
That's the real question right there. Yes, but yeah, and the power in that of, being in control of what you have going on. So welcome Maddie today. She's going to give us an update on her brand and the season she's in with virtual school learning. Woohoo! Yes, I wish y'all could.
Don't look so excited, Maddie.
Don't overwhelm us with your excitement. But lady Jeanette, what do you want to say about this? I think you had some great thoughts, and we do a lot of kind of Marco Polo and WhatsApping and all the things. So what are some of your initial thoughts on getting routines and keeping them?
Yeah, no, I think this is a great topic, especially because we're in a transitional period right now where a lot of people are either their kids are going back to school or virtual learning. Some people are empty nesters. And then so I know for some of us, Shonda shoulder dancing over there. And for some parents like that, their routines was affected because their kids was gone out the house at college, and then quarantine brought them back home. So you had to, Linda's like me, you had to really shift what your routine was like around other people. So I think just kind of talking about just tips and advice for how they can establish better routines and even figure out what their ideal type of routine should be for this season. So I know for me personally, everyone knows. And if you don't know, I'm about to tell you that I'm a planner girl. I have lots of planners.
Yay, really?
My planner usage does shift based around my kids. So the types of planners I use, whether it's an hourly one, just a weekly block one, but it changes because certain times of the year are busier for us. So right now for us, having an hourly schedule is helpful because we have 4 kids virtual learning. And then we still have, our boys playing sports right now and just trying to keep up with all that kind of stuff and then work at the same time. It's difficult. So it's really important for me, when those seasons shift, to create what my ideal week would look like, just to give me a guide, and then spend some time just kind of auditing my time to see what's really happening, and then making those adjustments. Because I think some people get so caught up in their one routine that they don't want to adjust it at all. But you have to recognize things change in your life. And, we all go through different transitions, whether you went from married to divorce, whether you lost a spouse and now you're single, or, widow or widower, and now you're having to figure out life on your own terms. And now your schedule is wide open, so now it's just about what I want to do. Yes. So just kind of talking about how that works for y'all, and how have y'all established new routines when things like that happen for you? What do you do? Do you even focus on it? Or does it just happen naturally?
Yeah, the focus part is so crazy. You mentioned earlier about, having kids coming home from college. My son Miles was away at school all these months, and he was home. And now, by the time this episode airs, he'll be back at school. They made a decision to bring the kids back on campus in a phased approach. So, of course, that 5 months that he was home, I flipped to an at-home work status. So having to maintain meetings and work, I already was in a lot of meetings already, but it just seemed like the uptick went up. So having to show up and still be that professional, and a lot of the meetings and the work and doing some of the same things you were doing in the office and having to since bring them home and do it remotely. So a lot of my stuff changed. I was a girl. I was going out every day, getting up, leaving the house at 6:37, doing my stopping at, the different coffee shops. And then all of that came to a halt. Like even doing groceries, I would even pick up my groceries on the way to work. So my old boss would laugh at me because he said, there she is again, got the grocery bag. But that for me was a routine. It was something I did for years. And then boom, the world shuts down, right? I had to completely flip. Like most people, I think we talked in a previous episode about online ordering options. That wasn't me. I wanted to go in the store and pick my stuff, and it took a while to kind of get used to things and, and settling down, and then having 2 kids from home doing virtual learning for that last couple of months of, the last school year. It was something else. Yeah. So we definitely had to pivot for sure.
And then you transitioned into like the summer. So then your routine was a little bit more lax where, you didn't have the pressure of like making sure that, Maddie was like getting her work done and this was submitted, things were done. And now where she had just a little more flexibility in her day, you can kind of ease into your day a little differently. Where now it's like, for me, I know everybody is up. Like, so where getting up at 6 o'clock was, I got like 3 hours before I have to see anybody. Now, my girls got to be online at 7:45 in the morning. I'm like, dang, when am I going to get some time for myself?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And Sean, I know you can speak to that from like your own experience of just having to shift like your routines around life changes.
Yeah, so the major life changes, if you don't know, you can go back to an episode, Resilience After the Storm. I'll give you a deep story about what I experienced a year and a half ago now, believe it or not. My late husband passed away, so learning how to pivot and learning how to, I'm by myself because we were empty nesters for many, many years. So now just having to figure out what's important to me, how do I establish a new routine, what does that look like for me? And I think what I'm going more on being by myself is I'm going on my feelings. Like when I set up a schedule or a routine, or even after I speak to someone, I'm processing how all of those things make me feel. So I'm working more on, if it makes me feel good, I want more of it. And if it doesn't make me feel good, I want less of it. I need to change it up to find that happy feeling, again. So for quarantine, during this time, I really, being by myself, I really want to establish really healthy workout habits. So I've been working out for over 20 years, and I don't have to do a whole lot, but I do have to do something because I've spent time evaluating myself when I didn't do anything, how my body felt. Right. So I know that I have to do something. So I was determined, I'm like, well, I'm by myself. I've been struggling with trying to get some type of rhythm and consistency with it. So I'm working out 4 times a week. I'm really happy about that. It makes me feel better about myself, and it's part of my routine right now, and I'm trying to stick with it. And it also helps me not to feel like so lonely or that like I'm alone. It gives me that good feeling. And twice a week, I'm involved with people online. So I got that social aspect, like, the Island Beats on Saturday mornings, and Maddie joins us on some of those events too. And so, just feeling my way through. That's how I'm coming up with my routines right now, is just making sure that it feels good to me. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Good. Yeah. I mean, the change of routine. I mean, I was getting up at 5 every morning trying to get out the house to get to work. When we suddenly came home, it was like, wow, everybody's home now. I felt like that was a huge change for me, just being home and working from home, making sure my computer was ready, making sure I had the documents I needed to do my job. So I still was getting up, and I'm still now getting up at 6 a.m. every day to log on at 8 o'clock. So that was a huge change for me, flipping to that status. And plus I move slow in the mornings, and I know that. So there's no way I can be out of bed at 7:30 and be online at 8. That is not happening. Y'all know that. It takes me forever. I have to walk stuff out the house. I'm walking around. I'm doing stuff. I'm piddling around. That's sort of me. So I knew I had to change my routine to meet those needs.
Yeah.
and to meet my needs and to do what I needed to do to show up. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was, I'm still getting used to it. It's been 5 months and it's still part of my routine. It's now ingrained in me that this is what I must do.
Yeah. And for me, I'm not, oh, go ahead, Shauna.
I have a question for you, ladies. We're speaking about our routines. How are you implementing those, or how are your children understanding that it's time for a new season of routines, and how are you adjusting them and getting them on board with, because transitions is very, very challenging for anyone. So especially children, how are you able to get them to understand that the routine, because today the routine is not, it's not staying in place as long as it used to be,
Right.
to be able to even form like certain habits that we're trying to do. We're constantly changing, even sometimes daily on certain things. So how are you able to make sure that the children are on board? What forms of communications are you using to make sure that the whole family is together on one accord with the changes of the seasons?
Mm-hmm.
I know for us, we usually, and this is like every school year, we generally try to start like a week or two before school starts to make sure that they understand, like, okay, we're adjusting. So whether it's like a gradual shift in like the time that they have to go to bed, we're not really strict on like what time they go to bed in the summertime. I know some people are very like, I don't care what time of the year it is, their kids be in bed at 8:30. Like we're a little more relaxed around here, and it's probably been some nights my kids probably put me to bed and they were still up. But so first it goes like a gradual adjustment of like their night routine, like what time they go to bed and what time we start shutting things down. And then for the girls, it was letting them know like, hey, all your devices, phones, games at 9 o'clock, or no, not 9 o'clock, at 8:30, we take those from them, and you can't get them back until after you finish school for the day. So just little things like that where it's like a trigger for them to know like, oh, okay, we got school the next day, I gotta shut it down. Those are kind of like the main things for us. And then we have set routines as far as like my husband gets them up out of bed in the morning, gets their breakfast started, while I make sure that they're logged into their laptops for school and those types of things. So we kind of work together with that.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's good, Jeanette. For us, we don't have strict bedtimes either. I'm usually the first one in the bed. Just like Maddie usually tucks me in, and with Miles, I mean, him being 19 and he was home for a while. Now he's back in school. And him and Maddie going to bed. I would hear them laughing in the middle of the night, especially during the summer.
In the middle of the night.
Yes, Maddie. Remember that time I came in your room and she was, I was like, what is that? I mean, so it was, so with the school thing, I think for us, it was more me kind of leading by example. Mm-hmm. I'm getting up no matter what time of day it is, Monday through Sunday. I'm up, a shower, change, cooking breakfast, get my coffee. And they just kind of followed suit. Even because I think the other night when Miles was here, when he was home, I swore that boy was up till 4 in the morning. I was like, you better be on that class. And I can log in and check if they're on class, if they're not on class. Yeah, I have access to, the different parent portals. So making sure that as, parents were using the resources at our fingertips. And Maddie, she's really good. She's very organized. So I started talking about the change in bedtime. How long ago, Maddie? I started talking about it like a week or two before school. I was like, don't forget. So I changed her bedtime. She is a little older. She's in middle school. So she's supposed to be in bed by 10. So we say that. And I know for some people, oh my God, it's so late. But no, for us, it works because she doesn't start school till 9:30. She goes to school. Yeah, the later end. But she had everything organized. She set up her stuff.
Nice.
She needed something. We sort of cleaned up different spaces in the house. So also too, organizing yourself. Creating spaces.
That helps.
That helps a lot. I mean, I now have a real desk and a real chair from my office after 5 months of being home. So that definitely helped. And then when they see that, they're like, oh, okay, this actually could work. So sort of that organizational clutter and getting the clutter down. Yeah,
definitely.
So those are things that I would throw out there for those of you who are dealing with the virtual learning space. It definitely helps to clean that up too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I liked what you said about it works for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have to, you can't stress that enough, that your routine, your whatever habits you're trying to get into place, whatever goals you have for you, for yourself as an individual or within your family's needs, that's all dedicated for your family or for yourself or for your personal needs. So trying to stay away from the comparison with other families, or if you live alone, someone else is living alone and maybe I should be doing what they do. You know, you need to do what's best for yourself and what's going to make you happy and more productive as a person. So,
sure. And on those lines, so like Shauna's a 4:30 a.m. person. Linda's to 6. And I can do 6, but I feel like now with the kids back in school, I don't really have as much time to do anything for myself. So I've adjusted to where now I do more work at night and in the evening once they go to bed, because I'm a night owl and I can stay up late, but I can also get up early if I need to. But so that's one of the adjustments that I made that works for me is I don't got to get up at 4:30 a.m. I can stay up till 2 and still get up at 7. And wow. Linda heart like, oh no.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I like that. I think that's really important to point out, Shauna, is that you have to do what works for you. You have to know your kid, because all kids are different. Now, some people, you know, your kid, if they don't go to bed at 8 o'clock, they're not going to function right. If they're eating the wrong things after a certain time, they're not going to function right. You have to know your child and make adjustments accordingly.
Exactly. I had that child. I had the child that had summertime. We're not adjusting bedtime. Bedtime was the same 365. Because I had the child that if he got deviated from that structure, it threw him all the way off. And it was so hard to get his rhythm back. So it was just best to just keep it the same. So it, you know, so that he can function better. So that's a good point. Knowing your children, knowing yourself. How well are you functioning?
Exactly.
You know, I mean, like we always say, Jeanette is our night owl. She gets the award, the trophies, all of the badges for that. I will come. I will be in the middle. I don't really like late, but I can go past Linda's time if I have to. You know, if I will make a sacrifice. I make sacrifices depending on what I have to do, and I will get up the next day. You know, but knowing thyself, you know, knowing the rhythm of yourself and knowing the rhythm, if you have a family, of your family is really important to understanding how to create your systems or, you know, the processes that you want to use in order to reach the goals for everyone's needs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm my best self in the mornings. I'm telling you, I go to bed between 9:30 and 10. I get up and I'm so full of energy. Like this morning, I was in the kitchen making my coffee. I was feeling great. I was like, oh, this is fire right here. Like, yes. And and that's just me. I mean, I think also too, knowing what those times are for you will have you creating your best routines. So if you are a 1 a.m., 2 a.m. person, maybe using that time to create your best routines and dig into those times. For me, it's more 6 a.m. and I'm just loving it. I did try this one time over the summer. I did go to bed at 1 a.m. one time over the summer. Okay, I'm like trying to be cool, trying to be that cool. Maddie said, what? Trying to be that cool parent. I was hurting the next day because I had to watch this TV show. I was like, I'm going to stay up. This TV show premieres at midnight. I'm going to stay up. I thought I was big and bad. Back in July, I thought I was big and bad. I was like, yeah. The next day, I was crawling, literally. So, but it was fun, though. I mean, so try different things. If it doesn't work, you can always bounce back.
Yeah.
But I laughed about it and then took a nap in the middle of the day. But besides that, I mean, yeah. So looking at yourself and knowing when you are showing up as your best self, I think that's the key thing.
I think that's really important. And just doing those audits and figuring out like when are you working at your best? Because like although like, you know, I can get up and I can work in the morning, there's something about like 2 or 3 o'clock where my energy is like, okay, I need a mental break. So like I have to do tasks that don't require a lot of like, you know, extra thinking, extra analysis, and like just where I don't have to be super detailed because my energy around 2 or 3, it wanes off. And then about 5, I get like another win, and then, you know, do my routine with the kids for dinner and my husband. And then about 9 o'clock, I'm like, I'm wide awake. What we doing? Like, I'm ready to work. Like, all them things that I have to really think about and concentrate on or be my most creative. Yeah, it's usually like 9, 10 o'clock. I'm like, all right. I was reading this thing, so I don't know if y'all looked into this, and it's called human design. It's almost like Enneagram type stuff, but it's really like knowing yourself based on like when you were born, what time you were born. And y'all are probably familiar from like Sacred Conversations. We can jot them out a little bit, but it talks about like the different houses and stuff. But I was reading up on human design about myself, and it was saying that I shouldn't force myself to stop like working at a certain hour just because like, oh, well, I feel like I should go to bed by 11, that I'm not going to get as good of a night's rest as I would if I worked until I got everything I wanted out of me. Like basically like if I have ideas and thoughts and things that I need to work through, I need to work those through until I'm done. And then my body will allow itself to rest, because otherwise I'll be restless throughout the night. And I was like, that is kind of true. I've definitely recognized that in myself sometimes. Like, you just go to bed with the wheels turned, like, I could just be up doing something right now. I know I could figure this out if I stay up just a little bit longer.
Wow. That's good that you recognize that, Jeanette. I mean, that's something I recognize, but on the opposite end. 9 a.m. in the morning and 6 a.m.
Sleep on this for a minute.
Not for me. That time is the opposite effect. And it's good that we know that, you know, the three, and of course, plus Maddie, the four of us, we know that about ourselves. Like, yes. Yeah, if I try to do something at 9 o'clock, well, boy, it'll probably be upside down on the page, and the computer could be too. Even though the computer sits upright, it'll still be upside down. For me, that's 7 a.m. I was up this morning doing my planning at 7 a.m., writing in my planner. So,
ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. It was awesome. So, yeah, it's good that you recognize that.
I was thinking about Jeanette's hour, her 2 to 3. I feel like a lot of times, I know we've been on Marco Polo, and at that 2 and 3 hour, Jeanette's like this, and I'm like this too. My 2 and 3 hour is my best nap time. Mm-hmm. So I've been napping for over 30 years, and I love it. I don't like when they're too short, you know, but you got to find that happy medium. Sometimes you just got to take what you can get, you know. Mm-hmm. But 2 to 3 is like my nap time. But the problem also comes is that I'll have energy for maybe 2 more hours, and then I'm done for the day. Like but I start early. That's part of the deal too. So that 4:30, the 4:30 hour is for the journaling, the meditation. It's like, I like to give myself, if I could, 2 full hours of pouring into myself before I have to start pouring into others or getting into any kind of work, right? So, yeah, it's interesting knowing thyself, how instrumental that is to getting your best self at all times. So I like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to kind of bring Maddie in on this conversation because, like, so I have a son that's in middle school, like Maddie, and he's 8th grade. Maddie, what grade are you in? 7th grade. And so a lot of times we think that like our kids don't know what they need, and we know everything that they need. And I think that it's important to kind of ask them like, what's the best way that I can help you? So like my son, he doesn't respond well to just this, you need to do this, and that's what you gotta do, and like if I ask him like, okay, do you want me to check on you, because he's one that needs a little extra checkup when it comes to like getting his work done. And I'm like, would you like me to hold you accountable and check up on your work every day, every other day, twice a week, once a week? Like, what will work best for you? He's like, I probably need you to check every day. I'm like, okay, well, we can do that. And so when we talk about like routines for kids and the stuff that they need, like what is the communication like, Linda, with you and Maddie, with like figuring out what works best? Is it a democracy? Is it a dictatorship?
But yeah, for Maddie, she's always been very independent. Like, she caught on quick to schoolwork, to technology, and she set her own routine. So knowing what I know about her, you know, she's very good. She's doing stuff before I even think of it most of the time. And I never really have had to worry. She's in 7th grade now. Never really had to worry about her, getting something done. I think I was following. Initially, I was like that helicopter kind of mom. And I thought that's a bad thing because of Maddie. Because of Miles. Because I had to stay on him.
Just so you know the record, your sister just called you out.
Called about Miles. She said, no, don't say sorry. No, he knows.
You ain't got to apologize. He done the same thing to you. It's all right.
Yes. And I think I took what I had to do with Miles and tried to impose it on her because I did have to stay on Miles. I mean, he's a very smart student, very good. It just took him a little while to get organized. We used to call him Messy Miles because his backpack. And I'll never forget this.
Oh no!
Maddie would help him with his backpack. She helped him organize his backpack.
Maddie.
I'll never forget school year 2014. That school year. Now imagine. Now Maddie is 12 now, so 2014 school year was 6 years ago now. And the night before school started, Miles said, "Oh, I need a pencil." I'm like, "What?" Maddie had her backpack all packed up. And I remember she said, "Bubby," she calls him Bubby, and Maddie, you can speak to that. "Bubby, I got this." And she helped him organize his backpack. And I was on the phone with my stepmom, Julie, and she said, "What's going on over there?" I said, "Well, Madison's helping Miles with his backpack," and she was like 6. And so I was thinking, oh my God, my other child's going to be like this. So I used to be that parent. And Maddie had to teach me.
Mom, I got this.
I got it. I was like, are you sure? Do I need to log in every day? She's showing me. They use something here in Maryland called School Max. And she would show me, Mom, here it is. I'm like, okay. So I did have to back up somewhat and do all that. So.
And that and trusting your children, trusting that your children are going to do and be everything that you're teaching them to do and be too. Sometimes we give all these lessons, we coach, we teach, and then we don't give them an opportunity to grow and and to figure it out and then come in at the right times, as parents too. So that's tricky. It's a tricky balance, but we do have to trust that they are going to do what they're supposed to be doing,
Yeah, definitely. Maddie, how was that for you as far as when we talk about like changing routines from summer to school? Was there anything that you knew on your own that you needed to do to like kind of get yourself prepared? And did you kind of come to your mom like, hey, it's time to I need to do this, I need to order these things? Like, were you proactive about getting prepared for virtual learning?
Yes. Well, based off like going with routines, like it wasn't really much different with me because in summer, I went to bed late. I still do sometimes, but summer, like sometimes like I would still wake up early, like on accident, or sometimes I'll wake up late. But I know that if I go to bed late, I can still wake up in the morning, like really early, like 7 o'clock or something like that. Even if I go to bed like at like 2, just like you, Miss Jeanette. And
it's my girl.
and like when my brother does that type of stuff, he used to stay up to like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Stuff or like
7 o'clock. Sleep to 2 o'clock the next day.
Yeah, and it would sleep. But like if I am up, it's like really rare for me to take a nap. Even if I'm up late and I wake up super early, it's rare for me to take a nap. So it wasn't hard for me to like adjust to waking up early because I knew I could do it, and all I had to do was just like set an alarm. And most times I would wake up before then, so it was really no need. But yeah. And go ahead, Shauna.
Do you feel like you was, even though you were able to wake up, do you feel like you were still able to function and keep up?
Yes, I think so. Cause I say that, because like it's just easy for me to wake up, and when I'm up, I'm just up. Even from doing nothing, I'm still able to do something. And also with like getting prepared for virtual learning, I told my mom like in like early August, like, oh, we need to get my school supplies because like I like watching like school supply videos on YouTube because like around school year, when the school year starts, it just is like so fun. And last year we went like school supply shopping. I was telling all my friends like, oh, I'm watching school supply videos because it was just so fun to watch, and I just like getting school supplies.
See, Maddie, stay up late. Pens, paper, stationery, school supplies, office supplies is all the same. I love all of that.
You got Jeanette's heart with that, Maddie, with the school supplies.
She's a 9-year-old, but she's also a morning person like you, Linda.
Mm-hmm. She came downstairs this morning early and scared me. I was like, "What are you doing?" It's like as we're taping this episode, there's no school today, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I'm just used to getting up, now because she started school when it's only been a week, right? It feels like the 31st of August, so it's not been that long. So it's been a few weeks, but yeah, I mean, just going from going to bed at 2:30 to now having to be in the school routine." Yeah, I wasn't worried about her too much. If we have to make adjustments, we will. I mean, sometimes I've had to adjust a little bit because I have meetings like all day. And actually, Shauna reached out and gave me a good idea. Maybe I can try to take lunch with Maddie. I'm still trying it, y'all, because sometimes they do schedule meetings even if it's over lunchtime, but that would be nice. So one of the days I ordered out for lunch, and it took the stress off. It really did. It took the pressure off, because if you can do that, even maybe it's a friend or your mom, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, whoever, auntie, if they can provide a meal during the week, for those of us who have the kids at home, something to sort of break that up and take the stressors off. So last Monday, I ordered Chick-fil-A, yay, one of our favorites. So we did that, and that took the pressure.
I can't get no Chick-fil-A today. I was about to text Corey to bring me some Chick-fil-A.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. All right, we gotta think of something else, but I can help you with that, Jeanette.
All right, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
And also, I am more of a night owl than like a morning person, because I can stay up. It's just that I get up. I just don't need a lot of sleep to function. I could just get up and be fine.
Wow. To know that.
If I go to sleep early, if I actually go to sleep early, then it's I wake up at 4:00 and I can't go back to sleep because I'm just up. Unless I'm super tired, then I will. But I just can't force myself to go back to sleep once I'm already up at 4:00. So I just stay up and just
be up the rest of the day. That was kind of us though, growing up. I don't know, Sean and Linda, how it was for y'all. We had to go to bed, but you didn't have to be asleep. I just don't. My parents are just, I don't want to hear or see you. You in your room. Don't ask nothing to eat. Don't ask them to drink. You just in your room. So even with the girls, I know they be in there. You was talking about the giggling and the laughing. I thought it was both of them, because Sydney and Ryan share a room. They're 7 and 5. And I hear Sydney giggling. Corey's like, you hear her? I was like, I hear her. So I can go in here. About to tell them to go to sleep. Ryan is knocked out. And I look at Sydney. I'm like, this show is so funny. I was like, the little girl, if you don't be quiet, laugh quieter. I'm like, yes. Sleep. If you don't go to sleep, that's on you, but you getting up in the morning now. Especially with school. Summertime, we're relaxed, but with school, yeah. I mean, you can stay up late if you want to. You're going to regret it, but they going to, I know for them, that first week, they was napping every day after.
I saw the pictures. That was awesome.
Every day. Sean, I wanted to talk because I know a lot of our listeners are probably empty nesters or almost in that transition period. How was it for you? You remember when TJ finally left the house and that whole change of routine in life for y'all? What kind of advice do you have for people adjusting to that? And
throw a party. No. Ooh. So I always speak about preparing before it happens, and ways that you can prepare. Of course, it's not going to be the same. You don't really know how you're going to feel when your child leaves the home. Mm-hmm. But some of the things you want to get into place, you want to, get a habit, a hobby going on.
Yes.
Or there's a lot of parents that they've parented their whole entire time. That was their number one job. And then when their child left, they were lost or felt, clueless about who they are or even who you are in a relationship. If it's you and your spouse, getting to reconnect and get to know each other again without this third party going on. And so creating like date nights ahead of time, just envisioning some of the things that you would like to do, but you can't quite do because you have your child in the house, and keeping a running tally or list on that. And then finding out ways how you can slowly start partaking in that when they get older. Like maybe you always wanted to do pottery, maybe sign up for a pottery class that's maybe for a 6-week session, or something like that. So reconnecting with yourself is the most important thing. I encourage not to wait until the last minute to do so.
I be telling my husband this all the time. Look, you can sit around here looking crazy when these kids leave the house, but I'm gonna be traveling, because he is definitely like, his everything is these kids, and like he loves the like sports, running back and forth to practices and games and travel. Like he loves all of that. Even when he fuss sometimes when they call his name. Like I asked my daughter the other day, like, you want something to eat? I'll just wait for daddy to get home. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to bed. And he's looking at me like, she didn't eat. I said, she said she went wait for you. He's like, I don't understand. I said, that's because that's what you do. You've established that.
Yes. The type of love language that he speaks to them, and how they interpret it.
Yeah, like he gonna need some hobbies, because luckily we have older kids and younger kids, so the two oldest will probably be in like their 30s when the last couple leave, and I'm like, you better pray you have some grandbabies to keep you busy. Because
the good news, Jeanette, is that you're a major planner, so you're gonna have everything all planned out. You're gonna have a plan, and you're gonna bring it out like, Corey, this is our empty nester planner book. I'm working on it right now.
And a travel planner. Jeanette can have a travel planner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If not, the Heart of Chat is gonna be rolling out, and I tell them I'll bring you back a souvenir, a T-shirt, or something.
Yes, we wait for the Heart of Chat to be on the road.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be rolling somewhere.
We plan on visiting your cities, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Recording live in your cities.
Exactly.
I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be amazing.
But I know you probably experienced this too. And speaking of like routines, so I know when my oldest daughter was in college and she would come home like for holidays or weekends, I would find myself like changing my whole routine to accommodate her and to, and half the time when she came home, either she just wanted to sleep, and then I'm frustrated because I done canceled all my plans to be available to you, or she had her other friends that she wanted to reconnect with. And I'm like, oh, you ain't even coming to see me. So I think that was something that I had to like get out of, was just completely changing my routine for her whenever she came home. Like, did you find that hard for you when it came to Miles, like coming back and forth from college?
Yeah, it was hard. I guess for me, because he played sports, I was still down in Virginia. I was gone. I saw him. It was almost like he was still here, because I see him, and like some family members would tell me, "Oh, you gotta let go. He's away at school." But it was so exciting, so I was still engrossed in that. Just seeing him. Sometimes it would be every weekend almost. Going down and traveling to the games. Maddie would go with me. My other friend, she would ride. So yeah, I think with the crazy part is with quarantine, with none of that kind of going on. He was home for 5 months, and now there's no sports at the college level, at least for basketball. And so now that part is going to be, so when he does come home in a couple months, what is that going to look like? And am I going to shift things? Is it going to be different? And that letting go piece, like, am I going to cancel everything? I don't think so, because we're such in a different time right now. And so the routine is kind of the routine. He's like, okay, I'll see you in a couple months. Of course, we miss him, terribly, but is that gonna, when he comes home, is it gonna really be that much different with the routine? A year ago, I would have said, yeah. Now, I don't think so. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be what it is today. So
yeah. I agree.
Yes. So for sure.
Ladies.
So Maddie, we wanted to hear an update from you about your brand activities. Speaking of routines, and I know you talk a lot about your virtual learning and establishing your own sort of routines for yourself. And you've got to have some fun in this whole process too. So can you give us an update on Accessories by Maddie?
So Accessories by Maddie is still under the works, and it's taking a little bit longer because I did pivot a little bit.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's still under the work. I'm still deciding what I'm really gonna do because I did have to like change some things because some things were not working out since I do make all of my products. So yeah, so it should be, I'm not going to give an exact date because I don't know. So I hope it will be coming out pretty soon, sooner rather than later, because I do have to also make sure I'm good with school and stuff. And most times after school,
priorities.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
School, I play Roblox, so yeah.
Definitely gotta make time for Roblox. I understand that. It's a
stress reliever.
So how do you or do you have like a plan in mind for how you'll balance making your products and going to school at the same time?
Yeah, so probably like I would probably like do school as normal and stuff, and maybe do my brand stuff on the weekends, because most times I don't like to do homework on the weekends at all because I just don't like to do it.
Yes, free up that time.
You need that mental break.
That's right.
So that would probably be, the weekends would probably be for Accessories by Maddie.
All right. So do you want to tell us what you pivoted to for Accessories by Maddie?
Well, I'm still not sure exactly what I pivoted to, but I know I did.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's something that you don't want to do anymore, and you're going to focus more on doing one specific thing.
Yes. So for right now, I'm really just looking at selling lip gloss rather than scrunchies, chapsticks, and lip gloss. But they will definitely be coming eventually, just not right now.
One product at a time.
Okay, all right. Starting small is really important because it allows you to give the best of that one product and put it out there and establish a name for yourself. So I think that's a really smart idea as well.
Great.
So we've been talking about routines, Maddie. How do you clearly like end your day? Like, is there a routine that you have where okay, my schoolwork day is done now, I can completely transition into like just Roblox or having fun? Like
well, for me, like when I know my school day is over is when I leave my last Zoom class. And when my brother was here, I would go downstairs and bother him.
The air quotes.
Show him some love, that's all.
That's how I would know my school day is over, once I leave my last Zoom class. I just don't do anything else except if I have to do stuff, but most of the times I do stuff during class because sometimes like the teacher like is like kind of, they're like going over it, but like I just decide to do it by myself so I can get it done.
So are your classes completely so are you on Zooms all day? I know for our girls, the teachers have like breaks built in between where they can kind of do free work and independent work. Is your day similar to that?
Yeah, so like we have first it starts off with a Zoom and then it goes into independent practice. But my teachers, I know some of my friends' teachers, their independent practice, they don't have to be on Zoom, but our teachers, my teachers make us stay on the Zoom for independent practice. It's just nobody's talking and you're just showing your face and there's
working.
And so and then after like the 15-minute independent practice, there's a 10-minute break, and then the next Zoom call starts. But it doesn't feel that long. It feels really short, and yeah.
So how do you like that compared to like being in school? Because you know, like when you're in school, you're working, you're also practicing on what you're learning, but then you still come home and have to do homework. I feel like there's less homework now because like there's a lot of that break time to get like the assignments done. Do you like one way better than the other, or?
I definitely like traditional school better, work wise and almost about everything else too. But work wise, it's just like I enjoy like kind of like getting my homework done and turning it in, but not necessarily doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like having that feeling like, oh, I got this done and I'm gonna turn it in. But with this, it's just like, well, I have to do this, and then it's just not the same, like turning in a paper versus submitting something online.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know, Maddie, I like when you said that you like to try to get your work done during the weekday so that you can have your time on the weekends to do what you really want to do.
Yeah.
Because those are good early habits to establish as a young person and to become a part of your personal philosophy so that in the future you can carry that over into your life and understand where you can do more of what you love to do, you know, after you take care of your business. So I think it's just, you amaze me every time we speak to you because you have all these philosophies and these systems and these structures and these processes that we as adults are trying to get a grip on. So it's just incredible to actually see a young person putting these things into practice. So kudos to you there.
Yes. Thank you, Maddie.
Oh,
What else you want to share? Anything else?
Well, about virtual learning again, it's different, definitely, and sometimes it's not that enjoyable, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a question for you, Maddie. How's the social aspect of things for you? I know it's not the same, but are you finding a rhythm or are you finding that you're getting better with having to do the connections the way you need to have to do it now in the safe way, social distance way?
Well, yes and no. Well, yes and no at the same time because every day I FaceTime with my best friend, so like that's also something. But like when I'm on Zoom class, I'm literally just there. I really don't even talk. I don't talk to anybody on the Zoom class because I just don't really like to do it. I don't chat in the chat. I'm just sitting there like listening or doing work. And sometimes like I get kind of scared when the teacher calls on me because like sometimes it's at a random and
You have to be ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Right. Like a whole conversation that we can have. I know with virtual learning, it's hard for the kids right now. Sydney's in kindergarten, and so like every day she's like, I haven't made any friends yet, Mom. Like, but it's hard because like you can't. You know what I'm saying? You really can't doing virtual school. I mean, I guess you could, but it's just a lot more challenging to make friends. When you're an older child, like you already have some established friends, but like you're 5 and 6, it's kind of like you rely on going to school to make friends, and then there's the quarantine piece of it too, where you're trying, even if you connect with like the parents and say, oh, let's set a play date for the kids, it's like, are they really going to be open? Are they going to be comfortable? Are you going to be comfortable?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely challenging.
Yeah, this is a whole topic, just in itself, because I was watching our local news station. It was either yesterday or maybe sometime last week, and all the kids here in our area are either in school or in some sort of virtual, and the newscasters, the anchors were talking about they're talking about the same things that we're talking about here on how to deal. Some of them had older kids, some had newer ones, or not newer, but younger kids. And it was so interesting just hearing it. They're saying like the exact same things that we're saying and what their children, college age, high school to elementary, middle school, what we're saying today. So some of those same things were shared.
Yeah.
One thing I think that could help is like if you have a pet or something like that, to like kind of like if you want to play with in between breaks. And I think talking to my mom about this, a good idea for me is to get like a guinea pig or a dog or something that you could just play with.
Oh, you sound like my kids, Maddie.
I think my screen is frozen.
Every parent that's listening right now is probably like, oh Lord, don't let my kid hear this, because they all been asking for pets.
Yes, and
highlighted this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying.
You put her business case in just so you know.
That's me.
I put out a post a couple weeks ago on my IG just listing some different ways to inspire families to get their children's workstations together, you know, create mobile stations, bring the outdoor in. And I think on the last line I said, buy a fish. Like put a fish on their desk. And I had so many people in my DMs like, buy a fish, you know. Like, you don't have to
get
do
those
it.
beta fish though, that just
right
in the bowl, but
yeah. And I know for the parent it's like, but that's extra work. The thing is that it's the social component that the children are suffering the most right now. They're okay with doing the e-learning. It's the social emotional parts that's affecting them the most. And if you need a animal to, you know, help out, or, you know, plants, or, you know, whatever the family's comfort level is, and that's per comfortability for each family. Because I did a vision board party one day with my workshop, and Jeanette's, both of her girls had dogs on their vision boards, and that was like the first thing they shouted out, and they were like really trying to get this on their bucket list for their family to do. But everybody has to be comfortable with, you know, with that part of it. But just know that that's the reason why kids are leaning more into that, is for support, social, emotional support.
Yeah, definitely. And we would love to get our kids one. And I wasn't planning on talking about this on this episode, but it kind of fits. Like we said, I'm in like a really transitional phase right now, and we're about to introduce another child into our family. I am
what? Repeat, rerun.
Wasn't going to talk about that, but yeah. So I'm currently pregnant. By the time this airs, I'll probably be almost
baby heartbeat. Baby heartbeat. We are so excited. The Heart of Chat is so excited. We became aunties over quarantine and the birth of the Heart of Chat, and we're so excited for each other.
Yes.
So crazy. We're gonna have another episode talking about being 40 and pregnant, but we're gonna talk about that. But it's like when I told the kids, they were like, so if we have a girl, then we can get a girl dog, and if we have a boy, we can get a boy dog. I said, why does me having a baby have anything to do with you getting a pet? Like, I don't understand how those go together. So now, like, that's kind of like my buffer. Like, well, after the baby comes and the baby gets a little bit bigger, then we can talk about getting a dog. But my husband wants a dog so bad. I was in his office. He has like a dual recliner chair. And I was like, I don't know, he said his man cave. He said, I mean, you can come in here when you want to, but that seat is for my dog when I get my dog. You put me out the man cave? He talking about, yup, I'm putting you right out, and that's where my dog gonna be sitting right next to me. I was like, whatever, he gonna be on the floor.
Are you outnumbered? Are you outnumbered in the home about having a dog, or is it split down?
Everybody wants a dog.
Oh wow!
Oh, you the only one.
I'm not against it. Because I know my issues with dogs, and I don't want my kids to have those same type of fears or hesitations. I want them to understand how to handle themselves around a dog, how to assert themselves and stuff like that. So I don't want them to be scared of dogs. So I mean, I'm open to getting a puppy. And then the crazier part is that the type of puppy I want, I feel like they have to come in a pair for some reason. I feel like if you get a French bulldog, then you need two of them.
Oh my goodness!
You have one, you need two French bulldogs, right?
Wow!
But she went from 0 to 100 real quick.
This is the way my mind works, y'all. But no, it'll probably be one, and it'll probably be something like one of those doodle mixes, like a cockapoo. Those are really really cute dogs, I will say.
Oh,
Nice.
But anyway, all that to say, yeah, I guess, Maddie has a point. Getting a dog for the kids could be very beneficial. But right now they got a lot of siblings, so might as well just play with this.
And since my brother is in college right now, I don't have.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point, Maddie.
Wow. Boy, oh boy. This episode is tugging at the heartstrings, y'all. I'm telling you. Like, yeah, the heart of chat.
It'll get you outside, it'll keep you active and healthy.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also wanted to name it after my brother. We'll call it Bubby.
Oh my goodness, y'all. Disclaimer.
And can you tell us how you came up with the name Bubby? Because my girls called one of their brothers something different than his name too.
So I think you might have to help me out with this.
Oh, sure.
So I think like when I was like 2 something, 1, I don't know. I don't think I could say brother and stuff. And also since my brother was also like watching a lot of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and his younger brother called them Bubby, and so since I really couldn't say brother, I just called him Bubby.
How cute.
Now I remember his high school friends, his high school coach, everybody called him Bubby.
Yes.
Oh, you got that going.
He got Bubby imprinted on his warm-ups. On his warm-ups in high school, he had Bubby printed there. Yeah.
Yep.
And
one time forever. His high school coach,
oh my gosh.
was like what happened?
Oh, so we were at the game, and I think it was his senior year, and they called a foul on Miles playing basketball, and his coach used to be loud, and he was so funny. Shout out to Coach Murphy. He was hilarious. He said, "Did you foul him, Bubby?" And the whole gym erupted. Miles was like,
so. I think that's the sweetest thing when they have like those names, and then the ones that stick. Like the girls, their oldest brother, they don't call, because he's little Corey, so he's Corey Jr. And so they just call him. I think Ryan started it. She called him Barbara, and now Sydney calls him Barbara. And I know when the baby gets here, it's gonna be the same thing. And I told him, I said, you do know, like that's your name forever, right? Like they know your name is Corey, but they're not gonna call you anything else but Barbara for the rest of your life.
And my brother, he doesn't call me Madison. He just calls me Maddie. I never really heard him call me Madison before, like ever, never. One time I asked him, because I never heard him say it, and I wanted to hear him say it, and then
like that don't sound right. Never mind. Just
right.
Calling Maddie. That's super sweet.
Awesome. This was great, ladies. Wow, we covered a lot here. Just routines, keep them going when you have to pivot, shift, and otherwise. It's an awesome thing. Any last words for our audience, or of a call to action and some takeaways? We have a lot that we covered. So any last or final words for everybody?
I would say make sure, when you're coming up with your routines, that you just process how you want to feel. How do you want to feel? What's the feeling that you want to get away from? Setting up your routines and your habit. How do you want yourself to feel? How do you want the family to feel? Take a little bit of time to just think about that before you start developing your schedule. And I want to add another thing to it. If you're needing some me time and you're trying to find yourself in the midst of it all, sometimes we might have to make a little bit of a sacrifice and get up a little bit earlier so that we can have 15 or 20 minutes to ourselves, or go to bed late when everybody goes down to have your 15 to 20 minutes to yourself. So try to get those little, some me time in there as well.
Yeah, I like that. What about you, Jeanette?
Similar to kind of what Shauna was saying is, first I would just say, when you are creating a routine or looking at your schedule, leave some white space in there. Like you don't have to, some people feel like they have to fill up every minute of the day. And me and Shauna, like I'm guilty of that too. And it's just like, leave some white space in there. We was watching, me and Linda watch Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. And at the end of season 3, Linda, I was watching her delete all her appointments out her calendar, and there was like nothing left. And then she closed the laptop, and you could just see like the freedom on her face to have been able to just delete all of it and then get her time back for herself and really figure out like what does she want to do for herself. So I would just say leave some white space in there for you. Don't try to book so much for yourself. And then be okay and be aware to know that you might need to adjust depending on what's going on in your life. And so just be open to that and don't feel guilty if your routine isn't going exactly the way you thought it should go. Just be okay with making that adjustment and pivoting. So
definitely. What about you, Maddie?
Well, if you like need something, don't be like afraid to ask, like such as like a pet. Don't be afraid to ask for a pet. Like I've asked my mom and dad for a dog for years, but I always got turned down. So now I'm asking for a guinea pig, which is a lot less to handle. So I hope it's a yes instead of a no this time, because I would really enjoy having a guinea pig, and yeah. Be afraid to ask.
Okay. So we're gonna leave our audience with the guinea pig ask. All right.
That's the tip. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want. And if
That's
they
right.
say no,
That's right.
think about it and then come back and ask again. I think that is a great tip, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie. So yes, I would say I love all the points. Being less rigid and being able to shift and pivot in your routines. So I've been working on that for years. Just like, oh, all right, this addition is sink, and it may have to stay there because I'm going to go do something else. And just being open to accepting of these changing times. So yeah, for sure. Yes, and growth. Yes, growth.
Awesome,
yes. Shauna, do you want to tell our audience where to find us?
We can't hear you,
Shauna, we can't. And we
trying to learn how to use this mute button on here. Oh my god!
Just want you to know, y'all are probably watching this live because watching this on YouTube because we added a little bit for the podcast audio, but on YouTube you see it all.
No, we're all random.
Yeah.
I will start again. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at The Heart of Chat. Please come back and join us every single Meatful Monday for another Fuego Friday. I'm messing up.
No, you good. No, you had me.
I love it. Fuego Friday. So on IG, we have Fuego Friday.
Now, join us for another Meatful Monday because it's going to be what?
Fuego, baby.
I love it. I love you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Maddie, it's always good to see you.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Bye.
Bye.